Chosen one. Listen closely. This moment is not random. This message is not coincidence. You are here by divine appointment. Something in your spirit, the part of you that has always known you were different, has guided you to this exact second in time. And now, heaven is confirming it. You are standing at the edge of a revelation about who you truly are. For years, signs have followed you. The dreams you couldn't explain, the sudden sensitivities, the inner knowing that awakened in childhood, the unshakable feeling that you were set apart. These were never accidents, chosen one. These were markers placed within you, evidence of a hidden origin and a spiritual bloodline that has been waiting to be revealed. And as we approach the supermoon on December 31st, 2025, the veil over your identity is thinning. Heaven is calling you to remember what was written about you before you were born, just as it is written in Jeremiah chapter 1, verse 5. Before I formed you, I set you apart. Chosen one, this is your awakening. Your spirit already feels it, the pull, the pressure, the holy urgency. You are about to understand why your path has never looked like anyone else's. Prepare yourself. What you're about to hear will shift your spirit, your assignment, and your entire atmosphere. This is your moment of unveiling. Chosen one. If you've been feeling that quiet pressure in your spirit lately, the sense that something is rising, something invisible yet undeniable, then understand this: you are not imagining it. What you're sensing is the unveiling of a part of you that has been waiting for years to surface. As we approach the supermoon on December 31st, 2025, the atmosphere around your life is shifting, not subtly, but prophetically. You may not have had the language for these feelings growing up. Maybe you were the child who felt everything too deeply, the one who could sense tension before anyone spoke, the one who noticed patterns others overlooked. People might have told you that you were too sensitive, too emotional, or too intense. But chosen one, those were the first signs. Those sensitivities weren't flaws. They were spiritual markers, proof that heaven placed something rare inside you long before you knew how to interpret it. I remember walking through seasons where I felt out of place in every room, like my spirit was tuned to a different frequency than the world around me. Back then, it felt lonely. Now I understand it was preparation. Heaven hides its strongest ones in plain sight, shielding them from premature exposure, allowing them to grow in silence until the appointed time. If you've ever felt unseen, misunderstood, or strangely disconnected from the environments you were in, it was not rejection, it was protection. And now that we are approaching this closing moment of the year, this spiritual threshold marked by the energy of Gemini, those hidden pieces of your identity are rising. Something in you is waking up. The supermoon is not just another lunar event, it's a culmination, the energetic peak of everything that has been unfolding since the middle of the year. Think back to the last months. Things have shifted, haven't they? Relationships ended without warning, opportunities dissolved unexpectedly, old patterns broke apart, people you relied on stepped away, and the plans you thought were solid suddenly unraveled. At first it felt chaotic, but now with a little distance you can see that something was being orchestrated. Heaven has been clearing your path with precision. I've lived through seasons like this too, times where I begged for stability while everything around me fell apart. What I learned is that when heaven knows what you're carrying, it will not allow you to stay attached to what diminishes you. Every loss, every ending, every disruption had purpose. It was clearing what could not follow you into the next chapter. This is why you felt that tension inside yourself. Gemini energy exposes duality. It brings your inner contradictions into the light. the part of you that knows you're called and the part of you that fears you're not ready. The version of you that wants to step forward and the version still attached to old wounds. The voice urging you to rise and the voice still negotiating with comfort. I've faced these moments myself, standing in the tension between who I was and who I was becoming. And I realized that the true battle was never external. It was internal. It was the fight between my old identity and my destined identity. The same battle is unfolding in you now, chosen one. This season is not asking for perfection, it is asking for honesty. Honesty about what needs to go. Honesty about what no longer aligns. Honesty about the dreams you've been too afraid to claim. And honesty about the voice inside you that has been whispering that you were made for more. This supermoon, this window of energy, this specific moment in time is illuminating you. It is showing you your patterns, your truth, your fears, and your hidden strength. It is inviting you to choose not from fear, not from habit, not from survival, but from identity. Your true identity. The one heaven wrote into your spirit before you lived your first day, just as it is spoken in Jeremiah chapter 1 verse 5, where God declares that he knew you before you were formed. That knowing still stands. The greatest danger right now is not the challenge before you. It is missing the revelation within you. Everything you've felt, everything that has shifted, everything that has been stripped away, none of it is random. You are being positioned for alignment, and alignment begins with awareness. So, chosen one, before you take the next step, ask yourself quietly, honestly, deeply, what if everything that has happened was preparing me to finally see who I truly am? Chosen one. As we move deeper into this revelation, your spirit is beginning to recognize that what is unfolding around you is not ordinary. It is not coincidence, not randomness, not a series of unrelated events. Something has been aligning, tightening, and accelerating beneath the surface of your life, and now it rises with unmistakable clarity as we approach December 31st, 2025. This moment is not simply the end of a year, it is the unveiling of a spiritual threshold. You may have felt it as restlessness, a sense of inner urgency, an unexplainable stirring that followed you from morning to night. You may have noticed that the closer we draw to this date, the harder it has become to tolerate what drains you, what diminishes you, what dulls your spirit. This is not emotional instability. It is spiritual intelligence awakening. When heaven begins to activate your next assignment, everything misaligned becomes unbearable. Your soul refuses to stay where it no longer belongs. I've lived through seasons just like this, where everyday routines suddenly felt too small, where familiar places felt foreign, and where my own spirit began resisting environments I once tolerated. Back then, I didn't understand why I felt like I was outgrowing everything at the same time. Now I know heaven was pulling me forward before I had the words to explain it. And chosen one. Heaven is pulling you forward now. Something sacred is taking shape inside you, and this supermoon acts like a spiritual magnet, drawing all truth to the surface. Your truth, your identity, your calling, your next chapter. Every chosen one reaches a point where pretending no longer works, where shrinking no longer feels safe, and where silence no longer protects them. This is that point for you. The days leading up to December 31st, 2025 are not ordinary days. They are days of separation, old cycles breaking off, old identities, dissolving old ties, loosening their grip on your spirit. You may have already noticed the signs, conversations that suddenly feel heavy, people from your past reappearing as tests, unexpected memories resurfacing, dreams becoming more vivid. intuition sharpening. These are not coincidences. These are spiritual cues, signals that heaven is preparing to shift your path. I've walked through seasons where these signs felt overwhelming. I remember questioning why certain old feelings resurfaced after years of silence. I remember waking up from dreams that felt more real than waking life. What I learned is that when heaven is about to elevate you, it revisits everything that shaped you, every wound, every lesson, every pattern, so nothing old can follow you into what is new. Chosen one. The energy of this moment is revealing what still holds your spirit hostage, not to torment you, but to free you. This season is asking you to choose with clarity, intentionality, and courage, not from fear, not from comfort, not from habit, but from identity, your true identity, the one that has been forming quietly since childhood. And this is where the supernatural intensity of Gemini shows itself. Its energy brings everything into duality, so you can finally see the difference between who you were and who you are becoming. It magnifies both the healed you and the wounded you, the confident you and the fearful you, the aligned you and the version still trying to survive. This can feel like emotional whiplash, but it is actually spiritual integration. It is heaven asking you to choose which self will cross the threshold of December 31st, 2025. In my own life, I've faced moments where I could feel two futures pulling on me at the same time. One path felt familiar but stagnant. The other felt frightening but alive. In those moments, the real test wasn't about circumstances. It was about identity. It was about whether I would cling to who I used to be or surrender to who I was becoming. And every chosen one comes to that crossroad. You are standing at that crossroad now. The tests appearing in your life are not punishments. They are mirrors showing you what must be released, what must be embraced, what must be confronted. They come in the form of old temptations, trying to lure you back, old wounds, trying to reopen old doubts, whispering in familiar tones. They come as opportunities wrapped in fear, as decisions that require faith, as conversations that demand honesty, as boundaries you never had the strength to enforce before. These tests are divine invitations. They are heaven's way of asking, which version of yourself are you choosing for the next chapter? Chosen. One, understand this deeply. The closer you get to destiny, the louder the old world becomes. The distractions increase. The temptations feel stronger. The fears feel sharper. Not because you're failing, but because you're evolving. The old you is fighting for survival, while the new you is fighting for birth. That is why this moment feels so intense. You are in spiritual transition, and transition always feels like tension before it feels like freedom. As December 31st, 2025 approaches, you are being invited to step into alignment with your true frequency. Not the frequency of fear, not the frequency of your past. Not the frequency of people who could not recognize your light, but the frequency heaven placed within you before you took your first breath. This awakening, this intensity, this divine pressure, it is not happening to you, it is happening for you. And everything you feel right now is a sign that your spirit is preparing for a reality your mind has never experienced. Chosen one. As we move forward, your spirit is entering the most crucial phase of this awakening. Everything leading up to this moment has been preparation, positioning, and pruning. But what you are stepping into now is identification, the unveiling of who you truly are beneath every layer life has placed on you. and I need you to hear this with your whole being. The closer we move toward the energetic threshold of December 31st, 2025, the more heaven begins to reveal the identity you were always meant to walk in. That is why the pressure has increased, why your emotions seem heightened, why every truth feels louder and every lie feels heavier. You are being separated from the version of yourself that was never truly you. The spiritual realm is shifting, and as it shifts, it is pulling the real you to the surface. You may have noticed that your old coping mechanisms no longer work the way they used to. The distractions that once numbed you don't numb you anymore. The relationships that used to drain you now feel intolerable. The environments where you used to shrink yourself now feel suffocating. This is not burnout. This is awakening. When heaven calls you higher, anything beneath your calling starts to feel like a form of suffocation. I've lived through moments like this where I felt trapped in rooms I used to feel comfortable in. I didn't understand then, but now I see clearly. There comes a time when your spirit outgrows your surroundings before your body does. And that tension, that discomfort, that restlessness is heaven's way of telling you that you can't stay where you've been. Chosen one. The spiritual pressure you feel now is the sign that expansion is coming. Growth always feels like rupture before it feels like release. And this supermoon energy is exposing everything that has been holding you back, not to shame you, but to free you. You are shedding old versions of yourself, like old skin, peeling away layers of identity that were built from survival instead of purpose. The universe is not trying to overwhelm you, it is trying to reveal you. But revelation often begins as disruption. And here is something you must understand deeply in this season. As you rise, you will feel the tug of war between the self that is emerging and the self that is comfortable. The emerging self speaks in clarity. The familiar self speaks in fear. The emerging self feels like truth. The familiar self feels like safety. And yet the familiar self is the one that keeps you repeating cycles. I've walked in those cycles too, feeling the pull of destiny, but trapped by the gravity of comfort. It wasn't until I embraced discomfort that my life began to align. The same is happening to you now. This season will bring you face to face with your patterns, not to condemn you, but to show you how far you've come. You might find yourself examining friendships differently, feeling the need to pull back from certain conversations, noticing the shift in your own reactions. Maybe you've become quieter, more observant, more discerning. Maybe you've lost interest in drama or meaningless distractions. Maybe you've started craving solitude instead of noise. These are not random changes. These are spiritual adjustment signs that your inner frequency is rising. And the more your frequency rises, the more misalignment will reveal itself. People who once felt comfortable may now feel draining. Spaces that once felt familiar may now feel foreign. You may even find yourself grieving versions of yourself you no longer resonate with. That grief is normal. Every transformation requires a funeral, not for your spirit, but for your old identity, your old expectations, your old limitations. Chosen one. One of the most powerful signs that you are entering your divine identity is the sudden appearance of opportunities or challenges that force you to choose differently than before. Pay attention to these moments. They are spiritual mirrors. When someone from your past suddenly reappears, when an old wound resurfaces, when a familiar temptation circles back around, this is not regression. It is examination. Heaven allows the past to appear so the future can be chosen intentionally, not accidentally. Every test in this season is an invitation. Are you choosing the healed version of yourself or the wounded version? Are you choosing faith or fear, purpose or pattern? You may also notice moments of profound clarity, flashes of insight, intuitive nudges, sudden knowing without explanation. This heightened awareness is a sign that your spirit is recalibrating. You are becoming more sensitive to energy, more aware of motives, more attuned to the unseen realm. Don't ignore these moments. They are not coincidences. They are communications. When heaven begins to reveal your identity, it first sharpens your perception. As we continue toward the threshold of December 31st, 2025, understand that your spirit is entering a time of integration. The pieces of you that felt scattered are beginning to align. The contradictions inside you are beginning to harmonize. The wounds that shaped you are becoming wisdom. Your spirit, mind, and purpose are being drawn into unity, and unity is power. This is why the pressure feels intense. This is why your inner world feels loud. Integration feels like unraveling before it feels like alignment. Chosen one, you are closer than you think. And everything you feel right now, the restlessness, the clarity, the discomfort, the anticipation, is evidence that your spirit is preparing for the next chapter heaven has written for you. You are not lost. You are not late. You are being transformed. Chosen one. As we enter this next phase of your awakening, I need you to understand something essential. Everything you are feeling, everything that seems to be surfacing all at once, is pointing toward one truth. You are stepping into a season where clarity replaces confusion, purpose replaces stagnation, and identity replaces imitation. The closer we move toward the divine threshold of December 31st, 2025, the more the spiritual realm begins to make its movements visible in your inner world. And you may have already noticed this happening in subtle but powerful ways. Thoughts that used to drift in the background are suddenly louder. Emotions you once ignored become impossible to dismiss. Patterns you tolerated for years now feel intolerable. This is not emotional instability. This is spiritual elevation. When heaven decides it is time for you to rise, everything inside you begins recalibrating to match the frequency of the future you're called to step into. There is a deep spiritual truth that many people overlook before heaven elevates you. It reveals you. It shows you to yourself. It pulls back the curtain on your habits, your fears, your wounds, and your strengths. It brings forward the parts of you that were buried beneath survival mode. And although this process can feel overwhelming, it is one of the greatest gifts heaven could ever give you, because self-revelation precedes destiny every single time. I've been through moments like this personally, seasons where I felt like every insecurity, every unhealed wound, and every hidden fear was suddenly illuminated. At the time, I thought something was wrong with me. Now, I understand something was awakening within me. The same awakening is happening within you. Chosen one. One of the clearest signs that your identity is shifting is the sudden emotional and spiritual sensitivity that accompanies this season. You may find that you can no longer lie to yourself about what hurts you, what drains you, or what no longer aligns with your spirit. You feel truth before it is spoken. You feel dishonesty before it is proven. You sense energy before it is visible. This is not paranoia. It is discernment sharpening. Heaven is fine-tuning your spirit so you no longer walk blindly into spaces that cannot handle your anointing. Every chosen one receives this sharpening before stepping into their next season. As December 31st, 2025 approaches, the universe is bringing your internal world into alignment with the external shift that is coming. This means you may feel like you are shedding layers, rapidly beliefs that no longer serve you, habits that no longer reflect you, mindsets that once protected you but now limit you. This shedding is sacred. You are releasing the version of yourself that was built out of survival so you can embrace the version built from purpose. And yes, shedding feels uncomfortable. It can feel like loss, like uncertainty, like vulnerability. But transformation always carries the sensation of release before it carries the sensation of relief. This season may also be showing you the spiritual weight you've been carrying for years. You may suddenly feel tired, not physically but spiritually, drained from carrying burdens you were never meant to hold alone. For many chosen ones, this heaviness is a sign that heaven is closing old assignments and preparing them for new ones. It is the same heaviness I once felt during a season where everything in my life was changing at once. I didn't realize then that heaven was lifting responsibilities I had taken on out of guilt or fear. I didn't realize I was being freed. You may be experiencing that same release now. Another sign emerging in this season is the appearance of divine discomfort moments where situations that once felt normal now feel wrong in your spirit. Conversations that once felt harmless now feel draining. People you once trusted now feel spiritually distant. Environments that once supported you now restrict you. Divine discomfort is heaven's way of removing your spirit from places your destiny has outgrown. This discomfort is not meant to punish you, but to reposition you. Pay attention to these signals, chosen one. Your spirit is speaking loudly. And perhaps one of the most profound aspects of this season is the sudden appearance of opportunities that challenge your comfort zone. Invitations that require courage, decisions that require faith, paths that require trust. You may feel both fear and excitement at the same time. That is how you know the opportunity is real. Destiny rarely arrives wrapped in ease. It arrives wrapped in growth, and growth feels unfamiliar because it stretches you into the version of yourself heaven always intended you to be. Chosen one, as we move closer to December 31st, 2025. Your spirit is entering a phase of divine alignment, a moment where everything that once felt scattered begins to form a coherent picture. You may not see the full picture yet, but the pieces are moving into place. What feels like disruption is actually orchestration. What feels like uncertainty is actually preparation. Heaven is not finished unveiling what is being shaped within you. Something sacred is emerging, and you are being guided toward it step by step, choice by choice, moment by moment. Chosen one. As we move into this next phase, understand that this moment of your journey carries a weight unlike anything you've experienced before. The spiritual atmosphere around your life is shifting with purpose, precision, and divine intention. And the closer we move toward December 31st, 2025, the more urgently heaven begins to call your spirit into alignment with your true identity. You may feel this as a tightening in your chest, a heightened awareness, or a sudden seriousness about your life that wasn't there before. This is not anxiety. This is activation. Something in you is preparing for elevation, and your entire being can feel the pull of destiny drawing you toward what you were created for. You are entering a season where your spirit refuses to settle. It refuses to be silent. It refuses to stay small. For the first time in a long time, you can sense that the life you've been living is too small for who you're becoming. This isn't arrogance, it's awakening. When heaven unlocks your identity, your old life stops fitting. The conversations that once entertained you no longer nourish you. The spaces that once surrounded you no longer support you. The people who once understood you now seem confused by your growth. This is what happens when your identity evolves before your environment does. I remember being in a season like this myself, where everything familiar began to feel strangely uncomfortable, as if my spirit was pushing against invisible walls. At the time, I didn't understand that this discomfort was actually direction. Heaven was expanding me inside before expanding my life on the outside, and that expansion always begins with a kind of holy restlessness. You may be feeling that same restlessness now, as though you're standing in a hallway between who you were and who you're becoming. Chosen 1. This is the hallway of transformation, and transformation is never tidy. It shakes you, it stretches you, it brings to the surface everything inside you that was buried, hidden, or ignored. You may have moments where you feel deeply aligned and moments where you feel deeply unsettled. You may feel ready one day and uncertain the next. This back and forth is not confusion. It is the process of your spirit outgrowing its old limitations. One of the strongest signs that you're entering your next level is the emergence of emotional and spiritual echoes, flashes of old wounds, memories resurfacing, feelings revisiting you. These echoes are not setbacks, they are indicators. They reveal the last remnants of what must be released before you cross into your next chapter. If old relationships come to mind, old fears resurface, old insecurities whisper louder, pay attention. These are places where your spirit is requesting closure, not repetition. You may also notice that your discernment has sharpened dramatically. You hear more in conversations. You feel more in silences. You see more in situations others overlook. This increase in perception is not random, it's preparation. Heaven sharpens your vision before entrusting you with greater responsibility, and with clearer vision comes clearer separation. People you once trusted may now reveal their true intentions. Opportunities you once desired may now feel wrong. Doors you once prayed for may now close abruptly. These shifts aren't punishment, they're protection. As December 31st, 2025 draws nearer, you are entering a phase where heaven replaces everything familiar with everything aligned. But alignment requires courage. The courage to walk away, the courage to choose differently, the courage to trust what your spirit knows, even when your mind argues. You may feel like you're being stretched between the known and the unknown. That stretch is the making of you. Identity is not discovered in comfort. It is forged in surrender. Chosen 1. This season is also calling you to embrace your inner truth with a level of honesty you've never allowed yourself before. You may find yourself finally admitting things you pushed aside for years, dreams you denied pain. You minimized desires you abandoned. Heaven is calling all of these truths to the surface because your new identity cannot be built on denial. It must be built on clarity. And clarity often requires confronting things you once buried. There may also be an unusual stillness around you, a quiet that feels heavy, intentional, almost sacred. This stillness is not emptiness, it is incubation. It is the space heaven creates when something new is forming in your spirit. Don't rush to fill this stillness with noise, people, or distractions. Divine stillness is where identity unfolds. And perhaps the most important part of this stage is recognizing that the version of you emerging now is not built from the expectations of others. This identity is built from destiny. You are not becoming who people told you to be. You are becoming who heaven has always known you to be. As your true identity rises, your spirit will naturally pull away from anything that tries to confine you to an outdated version of yourself. Chosen one. This is the threshold season, the final internal preparation before external manifestation. And every feeling, every shift, every discomfort, every revelation is a sign that you are closer to breakthrough than you've ever been. Chosen one. As we enter this next movement of your awakening, I need you to understand something that will change the way you see everything happening around you. This stage is not about what is shifting outside of you, it is about what is being activated within you. You are stepping into a realm of spiritual awareness that only a few ever reach in their lifetime. And the closer we move toward December 31st, 2025, the more unmistakable the signs become. This is where identity stops being a concept and starts becoming your lived reality. This is where the version of you that heaven designed begins to overshadow the version of you that life shaped. And because of that, this stage will feel different, heavier, deeper, more sacred than anything you've encountered before. Chosen one. Your spirit has entered a season where you can no longer ignore what you feel. Your sensitivities have heightened, not because you are overwhelmed, but because heaven is tuning you. You are hearing more, seeing more, sensing more, not through your physical senses, but through the spiritual intelligence you were born with. The veil that once kept you in survival mode is being lifted, and now the truth about who you are is becoming too loud to dismiss. You may feel like you've stepped into a version of yourself that is suddenly aware of things long before they happen. That isn't coincidence. It's remembrance. It's your spirit, remembering the identity that was woven into you before you entered this world. And yet with this heightened awareness comes an unexpected kind of loneliness. Not because you are isolated, but because you are separating. You are no longer comfortable in places you've outgrown. You no longer find joy in what once distracted you. You no longer fit into conversations that require you to shrink your truth. This loneliness is not emptiness, it is elevation. In my own life, I've experienced this exact quietness, a quietness that felt strange at first, almost like the pause before a storm, except the storm wasn't destruction, it was destiny. I didn't realize then that heaven sometimes removes noise, so you can hear the instructions meant only for you. You may be in that same holy quiet now. Chosen one this season demands discernment like never before. Not everyone around you can walk with you into what is coming. Some people only understood you when you were in your old identity, not the one you are stepping into now. You may notice subtle shifts in certain relationships, the distance, the misunderstandings, the strange tension that wasn't there before. These are signs. Some people are not resisting you, they are resisting your transformation. Heaven is gently peeling away connections that cannot carry the weight of who you are becoming. You are not being abandoned, you are being prepared. Another sign of this stage is the sudden confrontation with your own self, the parts of you that you thought were resolved, the fears you believed were buried, the doubts you hoped had disappeared. These parts are resurfacing not to haunt you, but to be healed. Heaven brings old wounds forward when you are finally strong enough to release them. You may find yourself remembering things you haven't thought about in years. You may feel emotions you thought you moved on from. This isn't regression. This is purification. Before heaven elevates you, it detoxes you. As December 31st, 2025 approaches, you may even feel a strange pull, as if something is calling your spirit forward. Sometimes it shows up as excitement you can't explain. Other times it shows up as a heaviness that tells you something significant is approaching. I've walked through seasons where my spirit said, "Prepare," even when nothing in my life looked different yet. And every single time that inner pull was accurate. Your spirit always senses the shift before your reality reflects it. Trust that pull, chosen one. It is guiding you, not misleading you. Another thing you must recognize in this stage: your old self may try to cling to you. Old habits may feel tempting. Old fears may whisper again. Old insecurities may resurface. This happens not because you are weak, but because you are transitioning. Your old identity is fighting for survival, but it cannot survive the light you are stepping into. Every chosen one experiences this tug of war before breakthrough. Don't mistake this tension for failure. The presence of resistance is proof that elevation is near. And perhaps the most important part of this phase is this: your spirit is learning to trust itself again. For years you may have doubted your intuition, dismissed your inner knowing, or silenced your truth to keep the peace. But this season will not allow you to betray yourself anymore. You are learning to hear your own spirit with clarity. You are learning to recognize the difference between fear and discernment. You are learning to honor the guidance heaven placed within you from the beginning. Chosen one. As we move through this awakening, recognize that everything you feel, the clarity, the tension, the loneliness, the anticipation, is a sign that you are aligning with the identity heaven wrote for you long before you lived a single day. You are not collapsing, you are emerging. You are not losing yourself, you are remembering yourself. And the closer we move to December 31st, 2025, the more undeniable this truth will become. Chosen one. As we enter this next unfolding of your awakening, I want you to recognize that this season is shaping you in ways far deeper than you may realize. What you are experiencing is not random emotion or spiritual turbulence. It is the recalibration of your entire being. Your identity, your energy, your discernment, your direction, your purpose. All of it is being refined as we move closer to the divine threshold of December 31st, 2025. This is not merely a transition, it is an initiation. Your spirit is being prepared to step into a level of alignment that only a few ever reach, and the universe is removing everything that cannot walk with you into what is coming. One of the clearest signs of this stage is the internal stretching you feel. You may sense an invisible pressure pushing you forward, as though life itself is calling you to rise higher. You may feel an urgency not from fear, but from recognition, a knowing that something significant awaits you, even if you cannot see the full picture yet. I've been in moments like this myself. I remember seasons where it felt like time was speeding up around me, where every day carried a sense of acceleration, where my spirit knew change was approaching long before it arrived. In those moments, I didn't need external confirmation. My spirit was the confirmation, and your spirit is confirming something to you now. Chosen one. Your awareness is sharpening in ways that feel almost supernatural. You may find yourself reading situations with unusual clarity, discerning motives without explanation, sensing shifts in energy the moment they occur. This is not imagination, it is activation. Heaven is heightening your sensitivity because the path ahead requires a level of spiritual intelligence that cannot come from the mind alone. You are being trained to navigate by intuition, by inner knowing, by the frequency of truth. But with this heightened awareness comes a deeper revelation. Some things in your life have reached their expiration date, and heaven is making those things unmistakably clear. Conversations that once felt comfortable now feel forced. Environments that once felt familiar now feel restrictive. People who once understood you now feel distant, confused, or disconnected. These shifts are not signs of failure, they're signs of evolution. When you rise, not everyone can rise with you, and heaven will never let attachments keep you from alignment. As we approach December 31st, 2025, you may also notice patterns ending abruptly. Cycles you've repeated for years, suddenly collapsing habits, losing their power, emotional triggers dissolving, and old fears losing their influence. This is divine intervention. There are things you carried for too long that cannot follow you into the next chapter. Heaven is breaking patterns you didn't even realize were imprisoning you. I've experienced this kind of sudden liberation before, where behaviors that seemed impossible to change suddenly lost their hold on me. It felt like something spiritual snapped inside me, and the weight I carried for years lifted in a moment. That kind of spiritual release is coming for you too. Another powerful sign emerging in this season is the tension between your current self and your emerging self. You may feel caught between identities, no longer who you were, but not fully who you are becoming. This in-between space can feel disorienting, but it's actually sacred. It is the chrysalis stage, the space where transformation becomes irreversible. The discomfort you feel is proof that you are outgrowing your old self. And when the old self dies, it doesn't go quietly. It tries to pull you back into patterns, fears, and habits that feel familiar. But familiarity is not the same as destiny. You may also find that your dreams, visions, or inner impressions are becoming more vivid. The spiritual realm is speaking to you with increasing clarity, often through symbols, impressions, or sudden insight. Don't dismiss these experiences. Chosen ones often receive guidance through dreams long before the physical world reflects the change. Your subconscious is communicating with your destiny. Pay attention to those messages. Another sign of this awakening is the deep emotional release you may experience. Tears that surface without warning, memories that appear out of nowhere, grief that rises even when nothing seems wrong. This is spiritual cleansing. Your spirit is releasing the residue of old seasons, old energies, old traumas, old identities. Your tears are not signs of weakness, they are signs of release. I've had seasons where tears flowed without explanation, and in hindsight I realized my spirit was making space for the next version of me. You are doing the same now. As December 31st, 2025 approaches, the universe is calling you into deeper alignment. This means you may feel increasingly protective of your energy, your peace, your time, your boundaries. You may feel the need to withdraw from noise, drama, and distractions. This withdrawal is not isolation, it is preparation. You are being drawn inward so you can rise outward. Silence is becoming your sanctuary, stillness is becoming your strength, solitude is becoming your teacher. Chosen one. What you are stepping into is not simply a new chapter, it is a new level of identity. The old self is dissolving, the new self is emerging, and the space between these two realities is where heaven does its greatest work. Everything you are feeling, the pressure, the clarity, the tension, the sensitivity, the emotional release, is proof that you are being prepared for what your spirit has always known was coming. You are not breaking down. you are breaking open. And as we move closer to December 31st, 2025, your true identity will become impossible to ignore. Chosen one. As we continue into this next dimension of your awakening, it becomes clearer that this season is not simply transforming your circumstances, it is transforming you. The shifts happening within your spirit are purposeful, meticulous, and divinely orchestrated. Every sensation, every moment of clarity, every wave of discomfort is part of the spiritual architecture heaven is forming inside you. And as we move nearer to the threshold of December 31st, 2025, the energy around your life intensifies because your identity is being reforged in the unseen. This is the kind of transformation that does not touch the surface first. It begins in the depths of your being, rewriting the patterns of your spirit. Chosen one. This stage is marked by a new level of self-recognition. You may find yourself becoming aware of strengths you didn't see before, gifts you once dismissed, or wisdom you didn't know you carried. Things that once felt ordinary about you now feel sacred, intentional, meaningful. Your ability to sense emotional shifts, your capacity to feel energy in a room, your instinctive knowing about situations or people, all these things you once treated as coincidences now reveal themselves as spiritual markers. This is the unveiling of identity. Heaven is showing you who you've always been, piece by piece, layer by layer, moment by moment. You may also be noticing that your internal dialogue is changing. The voice inside you is becoming more grounded, more insightful, more aligned. You are thinking differently, questioning differently, perceiving differently. You're no longer content with shallow explanations. You're no longer willing to settle for narratives that contradict what you feel in your spirit. When heaven awakens your identity, your thoughts begin to rise to meet your calling. You stop fighting for who you were and start preparing for who you are becoming. This inner shift, however, often comes with emotional turbulence. You may feel a mix of excitement and heaviness, anticipation and exhaustion, clarity and confusion, sometimes all within the same day. This emotional collision is not a sign that something is wrong. It is the sign that something is forming. Identity shifts are rarely calm. They feel like stretching, like shedding, like breaking open. I've walked through seasons like this myself, where I felt like two versions of me were pulling in opposite directions, the one I had learned to be and the one I was destined to become. The tension felt exhausting, but in truth, it was sacred. It was the tension of birth. Chosen. One another sign of this stage is that your desires are changing. Things you once chased no longer matter. Things you once ignored now feel magnetic. Goals you once pursued for validation no longer satisfy you. You are beginning to crave purpose over approval, alignment over appearance, truth over comfort. This shift is evidence that your soul is remembering what it was created for. You are no longer searching externally for what heaven planted internally. This is why shortcuts, distractions, and shallow pursuits no longer interest you. Your spirit is rising, and as your desires shift, so does your relationship with time. You may feel a new urgency, not rushed, but intentional. You may sense that certain things can't be postponed anymore. Conversations that once felt difficult now feel necessary. Dreams you once doubted now feel unavoidable. The closer we draw to December 31st, 2025, the more this urgency will grow. Destiny has its own clock, and your spirit can feel the ticking. Another profound sign in this phase is that you may be receiving unusual confirmations. repeated symbols, aligned messages, chance encounters, sudden insights. These are not coincidences. These are divine signals from the unseen realm. Heaven often uses patterns to get your attention when it is elevating your identity. Don't dismiss these signs. They are guiding you. They are affirming you. They are preparing you. Many chosen ones experience this increase in synchronicity right before major spiritual breakthroughs. You may also notice a growing separation between who you are internally and how others perceive you externally. People may comment that you've changed even if you haven't said a word. Some may feel intimidated by your growth, while others feel drawn to your presence without knowing why. This is because your energy is shifting, your spirit is rising. Identity speaks without language. When your inner frequency changes, your entire atmosphere changes. Chosen one, this stage also brings a deeper truth. You are learning to honor your boundaries, not out of fear, but out of wisdom. You are recognizing where your energy is being respected and where it is being exploited. You are seeing clearly who pours into you and who only takes from you. You are feeling the difference between those who value your presence and those who value your silence. This is not selfishness. This is spiritual stewardship. You cannot carry the next season while leaking energy into people or places that cannot carry you. And perhaps the most sacred part of this stage is the quiet recognition that you are being prepared for something extraordinary, something bigger than your past, beyond your imagination, and aligned with the deepest truth inside you. Every shift, every release, every sign is pointing toward a future where your identity is not hidden, questioned or doubted, but embraced, awakened, and fully aligned with heaven's design. Chosen one. Everything you're experiencing is shaping you for what is coming, and the closer we move to December 31st, 2025, the more undeniable this truth becomes. Chosen one. Step forward now in your true identity. Heaven has marked you, guided you, and awakened you. Walk in clarity, purpose, and power. If this spoke to your spirit, share your voice below and remain aligned.